talk about this project instead of demonstrating it because I can't figure out how to make the font readable. And this tool has a font that is so small it's never going to be visible in the video. And I figured out last time somehow to make it bigger, but I cannot reproduce that. Anyway, so this API Monitor tool will let you view Windows API calls inside a running Windows machine. And you can see them all. So you can load Notepad, and you can find the function calls and mark them. So if you look for functions named create file, you'll find a lot of them, and there's 3 that are interesting to us. In kernel 32, there's one called create file A for ASCII, and one called create file W for wide words. And then there's one in NTDIL called NT create file. And if you check those 3, it will show you just those API calls. So now if you launch Notepad and create a new file with a file name, then you will see the API calls here. You'll see them in, and that's why this thing has a lot of panes, and being unable to adjust the size of the print in it makes it unreadable here in my little window. But the picture here was when I was able to get it to zoom up. And so now you can see, here it is calling all these functions. You can see what function calls are involved in that operation. This is reminiscent of Process Monitor, but instead of looking at Windows event logs, it captures the real Windows API calls. So it calls NT create file, then it calls create file. Here it has the file name, mynewfile.txt, and also down here. And so when you highlight one of them, it will give you the parameters that were used down here. So the parameters pane here shows the pre-call value and the post-call value of all the parameters. So that's kind of fun, and you can find a flag there just for Notepad. But I looked for what's fun to do with this, and what's fun is stealing passwords from RDP. The Microsoft RDP client is vulnerable to this attack. Now, of course, you have administrator rights on the box to run API Monitor, so this is not a real vulnerability, but it's a way to understand how Windows works. So you'll need another machine to make an RDP connection to, like, for example, an Azure machine, or you can just turn on RDP on another Windows machine on your network. And then when you connect, you give it a username and a password and log in. And all you have to do is find MSTSC, which is Terminal Services Client, which is Microsoft's original name for Remote Desktop Protocol. And you go into this crypt32.dil, and you get crypt protect memory and crypt unprotect memory. And you will get the API calls that put encrypted versions of the password in memory. So you catch the password before it's encrypted, which is pretty nice. And you can see, you'll find the crypt protect memory call, and you'll see your password right here in plain text. So that's a fun one. And it's good to get used to seeing how the Windows libraries and the Windows API calls all work together.